Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today let's talk about some football. Today I wanted to talk about my Premier League predictions for game week number 2. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through each game and talking about each one and the results which I think will happen in that game. Pretty simple concept, and we do this every single week. So subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. But forget all that and let's just get into the video. Right, so we're going to start off with Villa versus Everton. So I've gone for a 0-0 in this one. Mainly because they've got poor attacks, in my opinion. Aston Villa are obviously the better team, but they started off very poor against Bournemouth, which hasn't given me much reason to put them very good against Everton. In my opinion, Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard are kind of edging towards a similar level. I think a lot of people had Steven Gerrard a lot higher than Frank Lampard. But at this point, Steven Gerrard's not doing that great. He's really not doing that great right now. I just think the attacks are poor, and the lack of scoring goals is going to really hurt both teams. So I just think it could easily be a 0-0. I just don't think either team's very good. If I were to pick a team to win, I'd pick Villa, but I'm sticking with my 0-0 for this one. Mainly because Everton's attack is so poor. I don't see Everton scoring a goal at all. Villa's is better. The attack just hasn't been scoring goals, and their chance creation has not been bad, but it's not been exceptional either, so I've just gone for a 0-0 there. Moving on to the next game, which is Arsenal. Now, Arsenal versus Leicester. Leicester have just signed a goalkeeper who used to play for Cardiff, I think, from what I've heard from the Leicester fans. I'm not particularly happy with that. I don't think he's going to play anyway. He's just like a backup. But I do think Arsenal are going to win this 2-1 versus Leicester. I hate backing against my own team. But Arsenal in that game was so good. Really good. I think Leicester will get one because Vardy always scores against Arsenal. So I reckon Vardy might get one. I'm hoping Gabby Jesus scores. And hopefully Zinchenko as well. But yeah, I think it's going to be 2-1. I think Arsenal just have too much quality for Leicester. Leicester are in a state right now where they're not doing particularly well, and I wouldn't back them to win against most teams in the Premier League right now. So I'm backing Arsenal in this one. Sorry, Leicester, I can't do it for you right now. Moving on to Brighton versus Newcastle. I've gone 2-0 Newcastle. Now, I really like Newcastle, and they could have won that game so easily last week if they could shoot. If they could actually score well. I just think the quality of Newcastle is going to be a bit too much for Brighton. Brighton played really well versus Manchester United last week. And then you may say to me, they just beat Manchester United. But Manchester United aren't that good. And I think losing Cucurella, obviously losing Basuma, will have an actual effect on them at some point. It will surely catch up to them. I just think their scoring goals is a major issue. I don't see you consistently scoring goals to this team, and I just think it's a bit unlikely that Newcastle lose this one. So I've gone for a 2-0 Newcastle win on that one. Moving on, let's go for City and Bournemouth. Now, I'm not going to spend much time on this one. It's going to be a 3-0 City win. Bournemouth are horrible versus Man City. I wish I could get Haaland in for that first game week. Well, for this game week anyway. Haaland's going to go crazy. De Bruyne's going to go crazy. It's not going to be a good time for you lot, Bournemouth. You win your first game, that's great. You're going to get absolutely smacked in the second game, I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm just going to go for that. City 3-0 versus Bournemouth. It's going to be a poor showing by Bournemouth and a champions showing by Manchester City. Moving on to Southampton versus Leeds. I just think they are both poor defensively, so I've gone for a 2-2 here. Very poor defences. Some of the worst defences in the Prem. I can't see any teams really worse defensively than them. So I just think Southampton are going to have a real issue defensively, and Leeds as well. Obviously, Southampton conceded 4 goals in the first game. Southampton's defence is always horrible. Leeds don't think they're very good defensively, so I think they're going to concede, especially against a team who can actually score goals, because obviously they only conceded 1 to Wolves, but Wolves aren't very good attacking either, so they haven't really been tested yet. So I do assume that Leeds are going to concede goals, so I've gone for a 2-2 here. A very exciting game, but a very poor defensive game, let me say that, for example. Next, moving on to Wolves versus Fulham. I think this is going to be a 1-1. I think, hear me out, that Wolves are going to be okay, not exceptional. And I think Fulham are going to be decent still, and I think they'll get another point. That draw that they got against Liverpool, I think it will carry them through this game, and I think they'll perform a lot better than people think they will, especially against the Wolves side, which really struggled against the Leeds side that a lot of people have getting relegated this season. It's not a great start for Wolves. So in fact, I've actually put Pereira in for Neto on my fantasy Premier League team. So we'll see how that works out. Probably Neto will go and score this week, so let's hope that doesn't happen.
So I'm not going to lie, I kind of messed up and I forgot to record this bit for Manchester United versus Brentford. I think Manchester United are going to win 2-0. Yeah, sorry for missing you guys out, Manchester United and Brentford. I really do apologise, but there you go. I remembered just as I was editing it. Thank you. Forest versus West Ham.
I really like West Ham. Very poor against Manchester City, but at the end of the day, everyone's going to look poor against Manchester City. So I've gone 1-0 West Ham. I think they'll score about the 40th minute or something before half time, and then it will just dead the game. Moving on to Chelsea versus Spurs. I've gone for a 2-1 Spurs. I'll be honest with you here. I think Sterling is going to get on the score sheet in this one. Like, he is really good, and I was very impressed with him. It's just whether they can find him enough, because in the last game they weren't finding him enough and creating enough chances for him, which he's probably very used to, so it's probably not a very usual sight, which he is used to in the Premier League. And then I just think Spurs is going to have a bit too much for them. I back Harry Kane to score at least one, maybe Son to score one as well. I'll do that as a prediction, 2-1 to Spurs, and I am quite confident in Spurs winning this one. I back Spurs because of Harry Kane and the manager in Conte, which they have. So that's the main reason why I've put Spurs winning this one. And then last but not least, we move on to Liverpool versus Palace. Now, Palace played extremely well in that first game. I was very impressed with how Palace played, and I'm very excited to see them progress as a team and perform really well. I do actually think they're going to lose again 2-1. Well, they didn't score in the last one, did they? It was 2-0 to Arsenal, but I think they're going to lose 2-1. To Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going to fight back a bit. I reckon they'll get 2 goals, step off the pedal a little bit and concede 1. But is it really going to matter? Not really. I'd assume Salah's going to score because he's my captain on FPL, so that'd be nice. I think Zaha might score for Palace as well because he was really good. So we'll see what happens there, but I reckon it's going to be a great game and a great game to watch. So I really like Palace, and I just think Liverpool has a bit too much quality for them because obviously they're Liverpool, and if they start Nunes, I think they'll play a lot better than they did with Firmino. Obviously Firmino's there to do a job and drop in and do all the stuff he does pretty much, but I really do like Nunes and how he plays the game. He's a bit clumsy, but at the end of the day, he's a great goal scorer. We've seen that in the last 2 games, so I think he's going to do well. But anyway guys, that is the end of the video. If you have enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate you.